This is TWiT.
The iOS update that just came out enables a whole bunch of new emoji that were part of the Unicode Consortium's 2019 emoji release, meaning that now the two major mobile platforms support these new emoji. People actually update their iPhones to get the new emoji. There are lots and lots of them. You can always go to emojipedia.org, run by our good friend Jeremy Burge, and you can find out about every emoji imaginable, and their blog has lots of great details about it. There's also a really nice story that I found on The Verge by Jay Peters. If you've ever said to yourself, I wish there was an emoji for blank, it's a great story to read. Jay Peters made a couple of proposals for a waffle emoji and for a yawning person emoji. And this week, he's been enjoying seeing famous people tweet out things about the yawning face emoji. Imagine that you do a long text thread and sort of like how I'm talking now. And then the response is yawn emoji. It's like, oh, I talked a little bit too long. I will also recommend to people, if you like podcasts, go to the Welcome to Macintosh podcast. Mark Bramhill did a great 4-part series about getting an emoji, a particular emoji, created and approved, and the bureaucratic process that goes into it. It is fascinating. These emoji don't just kind of happen on the spur of the moment. There's a whole process. And one of the big things that happened in this emoji season is gender neutral emoji for emoji that used to default to a gender. And, you know, you can't say the word gender without it being a controversy. But this is actually something that Google added and Apple added. In fact, as Emojipedia reported, the timeline for this was actually more like 2020, but Google and Apple both jumped on board faster with this. And the idea is if you wanted to pick a vampire or an astronaut and the gender that was the default was not yours, then you needed to go, oh, I need male vampire or female astronaut. And what has happened is that they are trying to remove a specific gender and have the defaults, the non-specific gender be a non-gendered image. Obviously a lot of controversy there, but kind of makes sense if you've ever, personally, as somebody who doesn't have a mustache, I never used the male astronaut emoji because he had a mustache. He looked like Michael Collins in Apollo 11, and I don't have a mustache, and I don't identify with that astronaut. And I can use the regular generic astronaut now and feel better about the fact that I shave my face. Emoji, it's so so controversial, and yet we use it to communicate. Any opinions about emoji? I don't even know where to go here. If you were an emoji, what would you be?
As long as it's not Bitmoji. Yeah, yay emoji,
Yeah.
no Bitmoji.
No Bitmoji.
Please. God.
I'm with you. My Micah Sargent, who we just saw there, who's my co-host over at Clockwise, he will be clutching his chest to hear no Bitmoji.
I think Renee's a bit of a Bitmoji person too, aren't
I like
you, Renee?
Bitmoji, Memoji, all emoji. Any emoji, I'm a fan.
Bitmoji or not emoji. There's something else. Something terrible.
They're bad drawings. Yeah.
I mean, I think what I take away from this is, it's a funny story, but at the same time, and I get that people get worked up about this stuff because emoji, man, it matters to people, but it doesn't happen on the spur of the moment. The blame game is amazing for this because sometimes the platforms get blamed, sometimes the Unicode gets blamed. It's actually kind of a partnership. Unicode doesn't make the art. The art on each platform is different, and it's commissioned by the platform owners, which is why your emoji look weird in Gmail and they look weird on Twitter because they use different emoji sets than if it's running on an app on your phone or your computer. And after the Unicode Consortium approves it, the platform owners have to implement it, which is and sometimes get ahead of the consortium, like with going to gender neutral defaults and then letting you specify a gender if you want to. That's something that obviously whoever was assigning the art department at Apple and Google, they already knew that they wanted to do this, and so they just pushed ahead with it even before Unicode.
That's its origin, though, right? Like ASCII art, like the ASCII emoji, the winky face, those were never gendered, and the early smiley faces, those were never gendered. I feel like this is getting back to the roots of emoji, where they could literally represent all of us to all of us without any of the sort of baggage that we pile up on top of everything else. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad they're empowering us again that way.
Yeah, and the idea that if you have a fireman and it's always a man, and then a woman wants to express fireman and she can't say a woman with, or even when they add the female firefighter, if the default firefighter is a man, that does say something. And so now it's sort of like you get a less gendered firefighter, and then you get to choose. That's another thing that so knowing Jeremy Berg at Emojipedia, Jeremy Berg gets all the hate about every emoji change that happens. It's amazing. And he keeps making the point, which is they are not removing any emoji, right? It's not like the emoji people came out and said, no firefighters have genders anymore. What they said was, we're going to do a default where there isn't facial hair and there isn't long hair or super, masculine features or feminine features. And then you can also choose male firefighter or female firefighter. You get all the choices. There are more choices than there were before. So, it's just trying to be more inclusive, and you can still represent yourself, but maybe other people who didn't feel represented are also represented now.